I'm gonna make the best pasta dish I've ever made in my whole freaking life. I could eat it every day for the rest of my life. If I was in prison and it was my last meal that I'd be asking for, this would be it. Death row meal, right here. Low fat, but super indulgent, tasty. Hi, I'm Julie Marie and I'm excited to bring to you another one of my great recipes. Tonight I'm making a favorite in my house, tomato cream sauce. It's my favorite, it's Jerry's favorite, and I brought it over to a friend's house just recently. My friend Kimmy and Jana was there and they raved over it, and I'm excited to show it to you. So I'm going to start off with a hot pan and 2 cups of vegetable broth, organic vegetable broth. Your pan doesn't have to be that hot to start off with. We're going to heat this up with 1 teaspoon of ground black pepper, 2 teaspoons of salt. We're going to be adding some unsalted, organic, peeled tomatoes. And this is one of my favorite brands. It's organic and all it contains is whole tomatoes and tomato puree. We're going to add that to that, and that's why we're adding 2 teaspoons of salt. If you're using salted tomatoes, you could cut that back. And then 1 tablespoon of oregano, dried. And then 4 cloves of fresh garlic. And I like to press my garlic. If you don't have a garlic press, you could dice this fine. And this is the remaining 3 cloves of garlic. I just pressed them ahead of time to save us some time here. And we're going to mix this together. This pan is nice and hot, so it should get simmering soon. We want to bring this to a boil. Traditional sauces like this are made with a lot of oil and heavy creams, but we're going to be using soy milk today and cornstarch to thicken this cream sauce. Another option you could use in place of the organic peeled whole tomatoes is you could use diced tomatoes in a can. This is a 28.2 ounce can. The other option you could use is a jar of your favorite pasta sauce. You want to look for oil-free and sugar-free. Those are both very important to eliminate out of your diet. So you could use that in place of it and still incorporate the oregano and the pepper and the garlic. You might want to cut back a little on the salt. It all depends on your dietary consciousness and what you want to do with that, with the salt. So this is starting to come to a boil, and we want to boil that a bit so that we can get these tomatoes to break up a little. We're breaking up really nicely already. These tomatoes smell wonderful. You must try some organic tomatoes that have no citric acid added. I don't eat any products with those ingredients, especially when it's not naturally derived citric acid. So you want to look for organic tomatoes that all they contain is tomatoes and puree. And what I'm going to add to this, because I basically almost killed us in the car today. There was a roadside stand that had a sign for tomatoes out in the suburbs. I was driving through and I saw it and I turned off, turned around and went to it, and they had these little bags of tomatoes that were grown in a garden, a home garden, and they were $1 for like 3 tomatoes. They were just beautiful. So I had to pick those up, and I have those here. So I'm going to dice those up and add them to my dish. This is super optional. If you have a garden that is just producing a ton of tomatoes right now, or you have some tomatoes that need to be used up, please add them to this dish. It's only going to give it a little more texture. Organic cherry tomatoes, if you have those. These are so delicious, I almost hate to cook them, but I have quite a few of them because I had to buy everything that they had at this stand. I miss the garden that I grew up with. My mom and dad were big gardeners and showed me how to grow everything, and right now I'm living in the Chicagoland area and I don't have a lot of garden space to grow full tomato plants. So whenever I see fresh tomatoes being grown on a roadside, I'm going to pick them up. So now to this, what I'm going to do, now that it's boiling, these tomatoes are cooking up, all the flavors are incorporating, I'm going to add 2 cups of soy milk. I'm going to add 4 tablespoons of cornstarch to that soy milk and incorporate it. If you've watched my other videos, I always use organic cornstarch, non-GMO cornstarch. This is a non-genetically modified corn that they make into a nice starch for us to thicken our dishes and keep them nice and low fat. I want them to keep making this product and carrying it at my local health food store. I shop at Fruitful Yield as well as, that's a local store here, as well as Whole Foods, and they carry it at both stores. So I keep purchasing it because my dollar is powerful. So I want them to keep it on the shelves. So what I'm going to do is add this soy milk and cornstarch to my tomatoes. So now this sauce is starting to thicken up. Looks beautiful. Going to keep whisking until this thickens up nicely. That soy milk was cold, it was in my refrigerator, so it kind of slowed everything down. Took the boiling tomato puree and vegetable broth down to a cooler temperature. So now it's starting to thicken up. It looks great. At this point, the only thing we have left to add is the spinach and our herbs, so I'm going to give it a quick taste. You want to see if you want to add any other seasonings, like more salt or pepper. Tastes delicious. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add, I have a pound of spinach here. I literally could put the whole entire box in here, but I'm going to save some for spinach salads later in the week. And I'm going to add about half of this. About 4 to 5 cups of spinach would be good. This is going to cook down into almost nothing. This is going to add a ton of iron and calcium to this dish. And it's going to give it some body. Everyone wonders, I walk out of my grocery store and I have boxes of these in my cart, and they're like, what are you guys, rabbits? And no, you can see, you can eat half of this. You could eat this entire box in this dish of pasta. It makes like 4 to 5 servings, 6 servings of pasta. So this is a great sauce to keep in your fridge or your freezer. But you'll see it'll cook down completely. So I'm going to put a lid on this. And this is going to steam down our spinach. I'm going to turn the heat down just a little bit, but you can see it steaming up nicely. We'll give that a couple minutes to cook down. While this spinach is wilting down and cooking, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about a request I had from my friend Jana. She said, I need you to write a cookbook for one. She's a single girl and she wants to eat healthy, and she loves the pictures of all the dishes that I post on Facebook and the cooking videos I have, but she's like, I couldn't possibly eat all of this. Now this sauce could be easily frozen and put into small containers for her to eat throughout the next 6 months, so it's not like it's wasted. The other option would be for her to invite me over and all of our friends, because they love this pasta sauce. When I brought it to them on Saturday night, I had a friend recovering from surgery, and it was so great to see her. I went to high school with her, Kimmy, and Jana came over and she was like, oh, I see all the pictures of your recipes, this looks so great, and she loved it. And her biggest complaint was, I don't make your recipes because I'm not going to make this, go through this bother for myself. So she could invite me over and all of our friends at any time. There's multiple friends that I know would love to join us. So thanks, Jana, for the idea, but I really think you should have a dinner party. Okay, this spinach is simmered down to almost nothing. And as you could see, we could have put an entire pound of spinach in here, no problem. It would have upped the nutrient value, the protein, the calcium, the iron incredibly. We have a half a pound in there, which is awesome. And what I'm going to add is, I'm going to turn this heat actually off because everything in there is ready to go. And I'm going to add 3/4 a cup of nutritional yeast, and I've spoken about this and it's in many of my recipes. And you can find it in the bulk section of your health food store. Whole Foods carries it. Or you can buy it in a can like this. It's sold in a half a can, a smaller can than this, if you just want to give it a try. I know you'll like it. It's got a cheesy, nutty taste. The texture out of the can, it looks a little bit like fish food. I hate to use that association, but that's the best way to describe it if you're buying it out of the bulk bins so that you can find it easily. This is going to make it have a really deep, rich flavor. It's very important that you incorporate this ingredient into this dish. And you get that item into your house. It's great on top of steamed vegetables as well. So then the other ingredient we're going to add is our chopped parsley, about 2 to 3 tablespoons. I'd go on the larger side, 3 tablespoons. And then also some basil, if you have it, out of your garden or in a potted plant, or you can buy it fresh at your grocery store. I just use whole leaves. Some people like to chiffonade it and slice it up. I like the whole leaves of basil. It smells so fragrant, and it gives it an unbelievable fresh addition. Now the last ingredient to this is a pound of cooked pasta. And what I cooked up tonight was organic whole wheat pasta. And you just want to add that to this nice hot pan of sauce and stir it up. And if you're bringing this over to a friend's house, this would be the perfect time. Stir it up, put a lid on it, bring it over like I did on Saturday night. I brought it to Kimmy's house and it worked out perfect. For a potluck, it would be great, because this will stay nice and hot for quite some time. Okay, I'm going to plate some of this up. I am so hungry. It's kind of a late dinner for me. This looks so good. It smells so good. Oh, you've been waiting for this. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you make some of my tomato cream sauce soon. And remember, optimum health will be owned by those who eat an abundance of plants. So eat your fruits and veggies. And take care. Best of health to you.